we're talking about stiff leg deadlifts. We can do this exercise with dumbbells, a kettlebell, a barbell. What you want to choose is what you're maybe the least good at, but also can make the most progress on. I'm very picky about how people do any type of hinge, especially these guys. So with Noah, you'll notice that even he has some stuff to work on, so we're not going to go through the full range of motion, and I'll explain why. So Noah, if he's using a barbell, is going to step up to the barbell. He's going to have his feet hip width or maybe even narrower, depending on how you're built. The point of a stiff leg deadlift is to keep the knee relatively straight. There's going to be a soft bend, but it's not going to move throughout the movement. And it's slightly different from a Romanian deadlift because we're aiming to go from the floor each time as opposed to just where you feel the stretch. That's the biggest difference, at least in my opinion. So Noah, he actually can't quite go all the way to the floor with proper torque, and I'll explain that later. So he's going to stand up all the way. And now Noah is going to hinge, sending his butt bones back, not using his back to flex. He's going to go as low as he can. And Noah, go ahead and go all the way down, and I'll point out where you can't go. Right there, come back up. We'll watch that again. I'm pointing out where his hamstring to no longer take the load, so he goes into his back. Right there, you'll see that those erectors change, and there's some segmentation there. All right, and then you see that those erectors have to be the first thing that get him to come back up. So that's why Noah is not going to go in that range of motion. So you see, we shorten the range of motion, and now we can tell that his hips drive the up phase of the movement as opposed to his erectors. Now, a lot of times, because of powerlifting style deadlifting, people will lock out really hard. When I'm doing this, I don't really like that. That tends to disengage the hamstrings and go into ET at the top. So when I'm doing this, it's typically to get a lot of IT chain work in, so I don't even stand up all the way. I leave like an inch or so of range of motion so that I stay in those inside hamstrings. Go ahead, Noah, show them that. Because again, we're not maxing out our stiff leg deadlift most of the time. So I just want to use this accessory at work to the best of my ability to actually get the most out of it for the point. Awesome. And all these things, Noah's going to make sure he feels the floor of this whole foot. I don't want to see the toes come up. I don't want to see the heels come up. That's going to change what you're activating and go away from what we want. All right? The last thing, a lot of times people like to squeeze their shoulder blades back to come up. Well, remember that your pecs are in the IT chain. I want those to stay squeezed because I can keep the obliques squeezed easier and feel the inside hamstring. Okay? The next thing that we can also use is dumbbells. It's actually my personal favorite. I think a barbell gets used a lot, so why not change what you're doing and how you're doing it? And dumbbells, I don't know, they're just more comfortable for me. They also let you keep the weight a little bit closer to your center of gravity. All right, so similar idea here. Pecs are on, obliques are on. Noah's going to hinge down, feeling the whole floor with his whole foot. Yep, down to his range of motion and back up. So the athlete needs to figure out if they can tell when they start to flex. When you're not with a coach, you need to pay attention to where you feel it. If you feel your low back working at all, that's when you know, all right, I need to kind of tweak something here. Maybe I need to go less range of motion. Filming your set is also great. You can get really, really good at seeing your erectors and whether or not they're doing too much. I'm looking at the hips. Are the hips shifting with Noah? All right. Are they rotating with him at the same degree that his torso is? Are his hips pointing all the way up to his shoulders? Are they parallel? Little things like that are going to make a huge difference in how well you move and how well you can use your hamstrings on hamstring movements and total body movements. Make sense? Have fun.